Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is part 2 in my podcast series on the 2018 midterm elections. Part 1 looked at where the national political field is currently at. In this episode, I will be highlighting the important races and candidates in California's midterm election. Without further ado, here is part 2, California's 2018 midterms. It's a big political year in California, which is poised to choose a new governor, a U.S. senator, and 53 representatives. California has perhaps more retiring or vulnerable incumbents than any other state, ensuring the Golden State will have a singular impact on the fate of the nation. There are 20 people vying for a chance to lead the nation's most populous state. Included among their ranks is a puppeteer, a transhumanist lecturer, and a virtual reality manager. However, at this point in the polls, it's largely a race between two Democratic former mayors, Gavin Newsom, the San Francisco liberal, and Antonio Villaraigosa, the Los Angeles moderate. According to a recent survey in a USA poll, Newsom leads the pack with 22% of the vote, followed by Villaraigosa with 14%. The top 5 is rounded out by Republican John Cox at 11%, Democrat John Chiang at 9%, and Republican Travis Allen at 7%. Thanks to California's open primary system, it's likely that voters will be choosing between two Democrats come the November 6th election. Incumbent Dianne Feinstein has a race on her hands this year thanks to liberal rival State Senator Kevin De Leon. There are 22 people vying for the seat Feinstein has held for 26 years. De Leon, the liberal Los Angeles Senate leader and son of an immigrant San Diego housekeeper, has accused Feinstein of being too moderate, centrist, and out of touch with her party. But Feinstein is one of the state's most influential politicians, and she recently scored an endorsement from former Vice President Joe Biden. Despite grumbling from the progressive wing of the party eager for change, Feinstein's reputation for getting things done is helping to keep her on top in the polls, the Los Angeles Times reports. A survey by the Public Policy Institute of California put Feinstein way ahead of De Leon with a 42% lead to his 16%, although 39% of respondents said they were undecided. Whoever thought that the youngest child of a single immigrant mother with a third-grade education would become the leader of the Senate? The odds have always been against me. It's the story of my life, De Leon told the Times. Hundreds of candidates are running for 53 congressional seats in California. And if the so-called Democratic wave washes over Congress, this is where it will happen. To flip the House, Democrats must pick up 24 seats, and they think the path to the majority goes through Southern California, where Rep. Ed Royce and Darrell Issa choose to retire after their once reliably conservative districts went for Hillary Clinton in 2016. Energized Democrats are running competitive races in districts that seemed out of reach only 4 years ago. But it won't be a slam dunk. A Republican rebellion is afoot against the state's relentless pushback against the Trump agenda. Republicans in the Central Valley, the Inland Empire, and Orange County have found something to rally around in the opposition to the state's so-called sanctuary law, limiting cooperation with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. There are several statewide races on the June 5 ballot, including governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, controller, treasurer, controller, attorney general, insurance commissioner, and superintendent of public instruction. Additionally, voters will be choosing the top 2 contenders in congressional and state legislative district primaries across the state. The most compelling judicial issue on the ballot will most likely be a recall. On Tuesday, the Register of Voters determined that organizers of a campaign to recall Santa Clara County Judge Aaron Persky had submitted more than enough valid signatures to qualify the recall for the June 5 ballot. According to the San Jose Mercury News, The effort was spurred by the judge's decision to sentence former Stanford University swimmer Brock Turner to 6 months in jail for sexually assaulting an intoxicated, unconscious woman outside of a campus fraternity party 2 years ago. The historic campaign is part of a national social movement to end impunity for athletes and other privileged perpetrators of sexual assault and violence against women, said Stanford Law School professor Michelle Dauber, the leader of the recall campaign. Judge Persky has a long history of bias in these cases, and that is why so many voters signed the petition, she continued. The recall campaign on January 11th turned in nearly 95,000 signatures, and only 58,634 valid signatures were needed to qualify the recall. If Persky is recalled, it would be the first time a California judge has been ousted in a recall election in 85 years. Your deadline to register to vote is May 21st, if you're in California, and your vote by mail request must be postmarked by May 29th. The primary election day is June 5th, and you can find your polling place through your county's elections website. Midterm election day is November 6th. Thank you for listening to my podcast series, and make sure to vote. This has been Thomas Soares.